Hey, I'm Charlie.
I'm Jamie.
We're from As Everything Unfolds, and we're going to bring you some tour stories. This band has a lot of weird tour stories, funny tour stories.
Very weird.
Very, like, just like we haven't even toured a huge amount, but we just have a lot of fun.
I think the best ones come from our last European tour. That was an experience, to say the least.
Yeah, it tends to be the tours that are the most what would you call them? Like when you slum it. When you're slumming it, they tend to be the funnier tours because like it's
anything
just
goes.
Anything goes. So it's like you turn up and the toilet's in the bedroom and you're like sick. You know, it's just stuff like that. It just makes the whole thing funny. We finished the show late at night and I think we had to drive about an hour after the show, an hour or two.
It was really late.
Yeah, so it was quite late. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and we'd booked an Airbnb that day, and it was kind of last minute, but it looked great. Had enough beds for everybody, which was rare, to be honest. So we were like, cool, sick, sounds good. But obviously it was pitch black by the time we were obviously going to the Airbnb, and where we were staying was kind of halfway between where we were playing in the next place, so it was kind of like countryside. And there was a lot of farmlands, and it was kind of like farmhouses and stuff from what we could see. There wasn't a huge amount of street lights. No road lights, like nothing. Just occasionally like a light outside a house or something. And we were driving and we were following the map and the sat nav and stuff. But so we got to this road and our driver turned down this road and we were like, right, it's got to be down here because it kind of gives you like a postcode, which is like a rough estimation of where you're going. Pitch black. So we're driving down this road and it's just solid black. All we can see is just the headlights. And as we get further down, there's this light of a house, and we're like, oh, okay, that must be the house. Like, there's no other houses around here. So we pull up and we're looking at the picture.
The road slowly starts to turn into just grass.
Mud and grass.
Pure mud field.
And we were in like a splitter van, so it's quite a heavy duty vehicle, but not a full off-road four-wheeler job. It's, you know, quite cumbersome, I think is the best word. And
with all our gear,
with all the gear and us. And we were looking at the picture of the Airbnb on the thing and looking at the house and going, nah, this isn't it, like this isn't it. But we were going, oh, it must be, like this is the only house we can see. And our driver was like, no, it's not the right house. So she started to like put it into reverse and started like reversing, and the wheels were just going round, like churning up the grass. And we then realised that we were basically on this guy's front lawn. And in the middle of the night, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think a lot happens in this town because it's in the middle of nowhere. And this guy...
I don't even think we were in a town.
No,
it was literally just a...
It was what... Yeah, like, you know, like in these horror films in America,
shack.
Like middle of nowhere farmhouses where you're like, I wouldn't live there.
You're getting murdered there.
Yeah. So this guy just appears from the house and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, he's going to tell us to like get off his lawn.
We thought we'd come out with like a shotgun.
Yeah, we were absolutely terrified. And so he comes up and he kind of knocks on the window or whatever, and I was in the back. I think we were all in the back, and Owen, Lisa, who was our photographer, and Kirsty, they were all in the front 3 seats. So they were basically having to deal with this guy who was basically speaking Swedish at them. He was not having a conversation. He was basically having a conversation with himself in Swedish, while we all were like, we don't speak Swedish, and like, we were really apologetic. You know, we're in their country, like it's not his fault he doesn't speak English. It's like, you know. And
to be fair to him, I think he was trying to be very helpful. I think he was trying to say,
we don't know.
Please get off my lawn. Go back that way. The road is there. Unfortunately, we were just churning up his lawn, and sorry, we don't speak Swedish.
Yeah, and we were like showing him the picture of the house, like where is this place? Like, can you point in the right direction? He just wasn't getting it, so he just kept going, and I think it got to the point we were there for 10 minutes, like it felt like 10 minutes. It was such a long time, and Owen just rolled the window up while he was talking, and we were just like, just drive away, just drive. So we just started driving, and then he went back into his house, and we did find it eventually, but it took a while. But yeah, that was quite terrifying, to be fair, and we were all delirious and we all just couldn't stop laughing at the situation.
The scarier Airbnb, which we've coined the murder house, was in Norway.
No, it was Sweden. Oh no, it was Norway. No, it was Norway.
Yeah, and again, rocked up to this Airbnb that I think we booked on the day at like 2 in the morning. We were all knackered. came in and there was barely any furniture in there. It had all looked like it had been like clinically cleaned, which is obviously a good thing, but this place was sparsely furnished. And so we went upstairs. There were no like bed sheets, duvets, anything. It was just like plastic wrapped mattresses. And for some reason there was a cot in the hallway.
Oh yeah.
Which was creepy in itself.
Yeah.
Being nosy, we had a little look in all the rooms, in all the cupboards, and there were like little doors into the eaves in some of the bedrooms, and inside one of them was just a bunch of empty like beer packets and just like a really old like 90s TV set.
Is it CRT? TV? Like the big thick boys.
The long boys.
The thick one, the big grey ones.
It was just sat there on its own with all this rubbish, and we were like...
in pitch black.
Someone's living here.
And then we went into...
It was like The Boy.
Yeah, the film. Living in the house. And we went into all the other ones as well. And like, obviously after that one, you were like, nah, not doing it. I couldn't help myself. I got
maybe like 20 minutes sleep that night.
I had to look into the room.
I had to sleep with the door open.
Because in case nobody would hear you scream. But I opened all the doors and it was the same. Like it was like whoever lived there just sort of like brushed all the stuff into the cupboard and closed it.
I don't know, I still think someone was living in there, man.
It was
And in
weird.
the basement, it was one of them American style basements that was like just pure concrete. And for some reason, the only shower in the whole house was down in the basement, just in a corner.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Horrible. Terrifying, wouldn't stay there
And
again.
they left us a bad review. They did on Kirsty's account.
Oh yeah, for not cleaning the floors.
We didn't clean the floor.
We didn't do anything to the floors.
We didn't do it. We literally came in and we slept and we left. And we took the bins out.
And I don't cope well with horror, scary. Won't do a horror film. Don't touch me. Hated it. I'd sleep with the fucking...
But yeah, and then again, somewhere in Scandinavia, I think it was Sweden again. It was Sweden again. Yeah. So, turned up to this Airbnb. Again, it kind of looked a bit creepy, but it was actually quite a sweet little place. It was like, it had like loads of land. It was really, really quiet. Like, it was actually quite a nice place to be, but we turned out it had no Wi-Fi, no TV, so basic. Like an armchair in the corner and a table, kind of basic. It was just, that was the living room. And we were like, right, so we got there relatively early, I think about like late afternoon. So we actually kind of had the evening. So we went to the supermarket, got food, cooked dinner. And we were like, well, you know, what are we going to do? Like, we've got all evening, no TV, no nothing. So we decided, well, George basically went, oh, well, we're in kind of Scandinavia and like this is where like black metal's from. So I've got loads of black metal t-shirts because George loves black metal. And let's do a black metal photo shoot. So we went out to the supermarket to buy children's face paint. So like, and we then covered our faces white, and then we had different, every single one of us had like different eye makeup or lips done or whatever. And Kirsty, our tour driver and tour manager, was basically doing all our makeup.
She loved it.
She was
sitting in the kitchen. Who's next?
Yeah, it was great. And
all our faces.
We did a photo shoot afterwards. And then actually after that, once we'd all had a shower and got it all off, had a bit of a laugh, we had a couple, like, got our beers and we sat around the fire pit. There was like a fire pit outside and we all just sat, and nobody had their phones. Nobody had phones. Nobody had any distractions, and I tell you, it was actually probably one of the nicest nights.
That was
and
probably
it was
the best
quite
night
warm.
we've had on
It was
tour.
quite warm as well. So that was a really nice but bizarre evening.
1 out of 3 positive experiences in a Scandinavian farmhouse.
Yeah.
So we went out in Hamburg on a night out. Pretty cool town, city. Don't know what it is.
City. Yeah.
Is that with the cathedral? Don't know.
It's in Germany. It's a city. Definitely.
It's a cool city anyway. Went out, I think it was one of our nights off on tour. So yeah, we went out, had a couple of beers, passed a sex shop. So naturally went in, had a look around. There was a lot of humorous stuff in there. And our tech, he came out, we were all kind of waiting outside the shop after a nice browse. And he came out and he came out with a bag, and we were like, oh,
what have you bought?
Yeah, what have you bought, you dirty boy? And he pulled out a cock sock.
It was called like...
Nah, come on. It was like one of them things that blow in the wind, like for airports.
Yeah.
It was
or like the things where the crosswinds.
Like the crosswind things. Like,
it was a willy sock. That's what it was called. It said Willy sock on it or something like that.
It was like
but
half a metre long.
It was like extra long. So obviously, it was a joke item. It was a novelty item. Your willy is not going to be that long because it was like this big. And but basically, he decided, and we were like, oh, this is funny. But we started getting to places, and he was like, shall I put it on? And we were like, no. And then they were like, yeah, put it on. And
we were in a drag bar on the strip, and he just kind of, we were all kind of having a good time, dancing around, whatever. He disappeared for like 5-10 minutes, and we were like, where's Ian gone? And then he comes back in, like, to the dance floor completely naked apart from this cock sock on, and he starts windmilling his chopper, like, obviously within the sock. And the drag queens were not impressed.
I mean, to be fair, it was not a good sight. I'll be honest.
I think one of them smacked him.
No, that was the security room. So the security then were like, get out. But there was a group of there was a hen pie. They were loving it. They were absolutely loving it. So yeah, unfortunately, British tourists, we're not.
We are the worst.
And we apologise to Europe. That's where we apologise to. We don't apologise to anyone. That's just a small selection of our tour stories. I'm sure if you follow us, you probably have heard a couple more, or you might hear more in the future. But yeah, hope you enjoyed our tour stories.